Okay, let's go over this. So when we take a look at consumer surplus, we have $11 as the market price. We should have Bob, who is willing to pay $13. The market price is $11, so we have $2 there. We have Barb, who's willing to pay $12 for $11 product, and so we have $1 there. And then Bob actually is only willing to pay $11. There's none there. So our total consumer bill. I'm sorry, Bill. Oh, I'm sorry. It should be Bill. Too many B's. So our total in regards to our summation of our consumer surplus should be 3. All right. If the market price is higher than my willingness to pay, I'm not buying the good. Correct? All right. Fairly simple. Let's take a look at number 2, producer surplus. We have a market price of 6. So from Carlos's standpoint, all right, willing to pay for $3 per. So we have a producer surplus of 3. Courtney, willing to pay 4. Producer surplus of 2. Chuck, willing to pay $5, surplus of 1. And Cindy, only willing to pay 6, so there's no producer surplus. So our total here, our summation of our producer surplus is 6. Easy enough? You'll have that on Connect. Let me move over to problem number 3, and then I need to talk a little bit about public and private goods, but I also need to review a problem in the back of Connect for your problem, and that deals with problem number 5. I want to review a little bit of that just to understand the public side of the good. So let's take a look at number 3. I want you to do this real quick. Still using the same tables. Look at what is the total surplus. If Bob buys a unit from Carlos, if Barb buys a unit from Courtney, if Bob buys a unit from Chad. So pair them up and tell me what the maximum surpluses are going to be. Number 3. Just going to push the needle a little bit.
Using the charts or the new numbers?
Using the original, the $8 for the equilibrium price, not 6 and 11. Let me push that just a little bit. So Bob is buying from Carlos, Barb is buying from Courtney, and Bob is buying from Chad.
Bob's going to say 2. So Bob buys 1.
Yeah, so what do you imagine Bob? Because so Carlos is $10.
Are we using the max?
What is the total?
He's willing to pay 13, but it's only costing us 30, so he's
I understand that, but
No, because we're using like the data that was like originally in the book.
10 and he's right? So Carlos is gonna make and then
Okay, do we have, pardon?
it's still Bob.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's Bob. Bob is at 13, right?
Yes.
No, we eliminated Bill.
Okay, so you can do it.
So it's Bob and Chad, Barb and Courtney, Bob and Chad, Bob and Carlos, Barb and Courtney, Bob and Chad. Too many B's and C's.
It's the same thing.
All right, and then total your complete surplus overall. What do you get?
What is it, Bob and Chad?
So it's Bob and Carlos, Barb and Courtney, Bob and Chad.
Okay.
Too many B's, too many C's. Yes, yes,
Or you
that's
can
it.
or you can subtract Bob's max willing to pay.
Yeah, you have to do that.
You can do it both ways though, because
You get the same
You can-
answer.
you
You're gonna get the same answer, but I like to have the steps so you have it
so
complete.
what you should do is take the maximum willing to pay minus the other guy's willing to pay.
Yes, and get the differential between the two. But see, you're matching a producer and a consumer, so you have to know the maximum each side. Yes, you're subtracting. Okay, can I move on here? So what is the total surplus that we get here?
Barb and Courtney, what's Courtney?
Across the pairs, total. Total?
23.
Oh, let's take a look. Between Bob and Carlos, all right? So Bob is at 13, right? Carlos is at 3. So we have a surplus, economic surplus of $10 there, right? Barb is at 12, and Courtney is at 4. So we have a surplus of 8, correct? Bob back to 13, and Chad at 8. So we have a surplus of 5. So my summation is 18, 19, 21, 22, 23. Okay, now, when we take a look at, again, you know, overall what's happening in regards to our market, we've got to make sure we are maximizing and relating to how much I can get for my market prices, and then, you know, what's going to be able to be sold. All right? So now let me move on to efficiency loss from over and under production. And then I want to talk a little bit about that particular problem that you're going to have on Connect. All right, so we have in econ what we call deadweight loss. And basically when we look at deadweight loss, it's basically looking at, just got to get there. We have a underproduction that basically what I'm trying to say is if I would have produced more, if we just kind of take a look at this, if I would have produced more, okay, I've decided to produce at point B where my quantity is equaling, demand is equaling my quantity supply. But literally if I'm operating at this quantity, if I produced more, I would have been able to make more money. I would have been, my economy would have been better. Underproduction, kind of related to looking at, as I said before, when you have people that don't graduate from high school, not skilled, not in the labor force, you know, we're underutilizing our resources. So that's what we call efficiency loss. There can be no waste of our resources. So, you know, depending upon where I'm just bringing this up a little bit, depending upon where our economy falls on how much is produced, how much is actually demanded, how much is supplied, we cannot have underproduction of resources because we could have done better. This is actually played out in your chapter as well when we have underproduction as well as when we have overproduction. So if you want to take a look, you know, the producer and consumer surplus is kind of easy to understand. But if you take a look at page 89, this is what I'm looking at. Looking at underproduction of the possibility of doing better in our economy and no waste. The other side, the flip side, is if I have overproduction, where I have resources, again, we have efficiency losses as well. When we take a look at this area of this triangle, all right? Because I have things that are, you know, when a producer side of the market, when we have leftover corn. How many have ever heard of a farmer having to burn the corn and the government paying for it? All right, that's what I'm talking about, overproduction. Because if the corn that was manufactured all comes to the market, it's going to lower the market price for the producer and the farmer won't make as much money. So the government literally pays farmers to burn corn to keep the market price up so they can make profit. All right? But it's in efficiency lost when we take a look at that overproduction. And that's that area that it's referring to. It's what we call dead weight losses. Dead weight losses. All right. Now, this I want in your notes so that you will be able to do the last part of your homework this weekend. Private goods. Private goods are where we shop at. All right? So those are the goods that we have in the market where, you know, they're offered for us to buy. What do we mean by rivalry and excludability? Rivalry says, like, if I have $20, right, and Courtney has $20, we see a product that we both like. So if I buy it, then she can't buy it. All right? So it depends upon who has the money to have it. Excludability, once I buy it, it's off the market. She can't buy it. So those are the characteristics of a private good. A private good. And that's where most of us live, in buying goods and services.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Just about the test. It's next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And chapter 5 will be on that, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if we
And
don't
in chapter 5, I come back to the circular flow model in government.
So if we don't have class on Monday, God forbid, our test is Wednesday and it's on chapter 5 too.
We gotta have class on Monday.
I know, I'm just saying, God forbid, that's why I'm asking you.
Okay, let me kind of play it by ear, but gosh, we gotta have class on Monday.
So if we don't have class on Monday, we don't have the task forms Wednesday.
I might have to move it, but I'm gonna have to some other things, which is not good, because then I'm actually ready to start macroeconomics. This is still principles.
But 5 is on the test.
Yeah, 5 is on the test, government. Okay? All right. Other side is our public goods, like our public parks. They are basically provided by the government. There's non-rivalry. So I can enjoy the park. You can enjoy the park. There's no excludability. The problem is that, you know, there's no cost involved. So it's what we call a free rider problem. Because we can't really determine what we call the utils or the value. You know, you might get $400 out of visiting the park in utils, and I might get 0. So, you know, just for the fact that it's there, you're able to enjoy it. So a free rider is that, you know, there's no cost associated. We cannot calibrate the price. Yes?
You could consider a public schooling public good, right? Like just going to elementary school, grade school?
Kind of. The only little chancey there is because it isn't free, because tax dollars pay for it. But what you do make a good point is, how much are you getting out of it? Are you taking advantage of the public school education and getting the most out of it? And getting, you know, what you need. Okay? Now, as you finish this up, I want you to go just in the back of your book real quick on page for this last problem, because it deals with this public good, and many students get stumped on this particular problem. And I believe, have it on Connect. And that is problem number 5 and number 6, okay? You will have that on Connect. When we are talking about a public good, specifically, I think it is problem number 6. Please know it is on a public good, the part where it says quantity and quantity supply, price and quantity supplied. It is what we consider a collective demand schedule as it relates to the supply schedule. So we're looking at all together what supply or society demands, starting at $19, then going down to $4. A public good, it's like raising money to renovate a park. How much is everybody willing to put in to renovate this park? Okay? It's a public good, but it's the collective demand on what we're able to get for that public good. Okay? So keep that in mind. Problems 5 and 6, I believe, are on Connect.
And that's for the quantity.
Right, and that's for the supplier side of the market, but it's a public good, not a private. Okay? We got to have class on Monday, people. We got to have class. All right, everybody exit.